Hello and welcome to Daily Politics on Trust TV. I am Hamza Idris. On Tidbits tonight, the Independent National Electoral Commission says the forthcoming general election will not hold in 240 polling units across 28 states and the Federal Capital Territory for not having registered voters. INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu, at a meeting with national leaders of political parties in Abuja on Monday, said that the February and March elections will now hold in 176,606 polling units instead of 176,846 polling units across the country. Let's have a look at what he said.
Yakubu recalled that in 2021, the Commission successfully expanded the number of poll units from 119,973 to the current figure of 176,846. He said that efforts were also made to distribute voters to the polling units in order to avoid the congestion that made voting cumbersome in many of the polling units nationwide.
There are 240 polling units without registered voters spread across 28 states and the Federal Capital Territory. They range from 1 polling unit to 12 polling units in each state and the FCT, except Taraba and Imo states with 34 and 38 polling units respectively. No new registrants choose the polling units and no voters indicated interest to transfer to them during the last continuous voter registration exercise, mainly for security reasons. From the feedback we received from our officials and accredited voters following the recent nationwide mock accreditation using the beavers, it is clear that some voters could not easily identify their polling units. This must not happen on election day. Consequently, the Commission is advising voters to confirm the locations of their polling units through a dedicated portal linked to our website. In addition, all voters who have been assigned to new polling units will receive text messages from the Commission indicating their polling units. We have also compiled the register of such voters, and our state offices will give it wide publicity, especially for those who may not have provided their telephone numbers during voter registration or those whose numbers may have changed.
The National Chairman, Inter-Party Advisory Council IPAC, Yabagi Sani, appealed to INEC to ensure that general election hold as scheduled. Sani would reaffirm the Council's confidence in the leadership of INEC for its consistent demonstration of diligence, urged the Commission to make the general elections credible.
2023 general elections seemingly will be a watershed in the history of elections in Nigeria. Today, the tide has changed because an unknown party could pull a surprise to the greatest chagrin of all. From this point of view, it is necessary to advise INEC to keep its date with history, which must not be wasted.
Meanwhile, the United States Assistant Secretary of State for Bureau of African Affairs, Molly Fee, and the U.S. Ambassador to Nigeria, Mary Beth Leonard, have visited the Commission's headquarters, where the Assistant Secretary of State restated the importance of having a peaceful election.
I do want to make clear that the United States does not back any candidate or party. We back the process. We back democracy.
On the ongoing electionary campaigns, Yakubu expressed INEC concerns about the violent attacks on supporters of political parties across board and appealed to the leaders of political parties to continue to call their candidates and supporters to order. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
That was the briefing by INEC in Abuja. We now have Kende Amadou in the studio. He's our in-house analyst. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
So many things today.
Yes.
Were you surprised by the declaration by INEC that elections will not hold in no fewer than 240 units, yeah, right, in 28 states?
Not surprising, because we still have not dealt with the scourge of insecurity across the country. Now, we have 34 polling units in Imo State, or is it 38? Yeah. And then 38 in Taraba State.
Yeah.
It shows that INEC had not prepared adequately for the issue of insecurity in areas.
Is it their responsibility?
It's not, but if we're talking about, there were signs that will get to this point.
Yes.
When the mock census was conducted.
Yeah, mock by model, the accreditation, yeah.
The mock population census last year.
Okay, I understand, okay.
Some local governments in Zamfara State were inaccessible. In Katsina State were inaccessible.
Yeah.
So those are already signs that there are areas that...
Even in Benue?
There are already signs that there are some areas...
Clear signals, yeah.
Clear signals that there are in some areas there will not be voting. Well, I don't want to say there will not be voting. There might not be voting in the elections. And that's what's clear. So it's not surprising that we have such a huge number. But the thing about it is that if you look at the number of polling units to the larger number of polling units, the percentages may not be that significant. But it brings to question the fact that some Nigerians may be disenfranchised.
Yeah, which is actually a crime of sorts.
Yes.
Because they will definitely feel that they were not protected to give them the latitude to exercise their franchise.
Going forward, let's see what INEC will arrange. Because in the last general elections, there are special polling units for displaced persons.
Yes.
In IDP camps.
Yes.
But the question
especially in Borno, in Yobe, in Adamawa.
But the question that arises again is that Borno has sent many of its IDP, internally displaced persons, home.
Yes.
Will those people have access to
go out and
vote?
Now, my fear is not actually the number, 240, as you rightly said. It's not really a big number. But if you look at the geographical spread,
yes,
we have 36 states and 28
of those states
have these landmarks and red spots that people will know, even if it is one. It actually sends big signal that things are not normal.
It does. And all briefings towards this purpose, you know, and now we have another existential crisis which has come on board, which is two actually, which the INEC chairman recognized: scarcity of fuel,
yes,
and then scarcity of naira notes, which makes logistics very sketchy.
Exactly.
Now, whereas the INEC chairman has given assurances that INEC operations will not be hampered because they have special arrangements with NNPC,
NURTW,
and all that, yes, and all that. What about people, special logistics for the people that vote?
Nobody is talking about that.
Nobody's talking about that.
It's really scary. I remember in 2019, the scenario wasn't like this.
Yes.
But the insecurity did not actually spread.
Yes.
The way we have it now. But apart from insecurity, logistics forced INEC on the eve of election to extend it. And we heard Yaba Gisani, chairman of IPAC here, say that INEC should try and make a deal with history. Is he actually saying that they should not repeat what happened? They should do whatever it takes to ensure that elections hold across the country?
Well, the important thing is elections should hold. But if you look at the last two general elections, those elections leading up were postponed.
Yes.
2015,
yes,
postponed. 2019,
yes.
In fact, 2019, I remember we were in Katsina State, and we were on the president's entourage, and right there and then, the elections, we had gone out and done the preliminary reports and sent to our stations, and then coming back to escort the president back and say elections have been postponed.
Yes, just like what happened in 2019.
Yes.
Like in Daily Trust here, we did a pull out, but we had to pull it down, almost 16 pages on the eve of election, to now scramble and do another report to show that elections have been postponed. So what do you think, finally, what do you think should be done by security agencies? Because it's not, I can see the INEC chairman, I can see the pain in him, you can see. He's actually seeing some signals that things are not really the way he expected them before. So who should do what now? We have less than 12 days to go to the polls.
Well, this is primarily in the hands of security.
Okay.
Of course, what would also cause some tension is the scarcity of Naira notes that we have now. Not that it will directly impact, but there is already the psyche of a pained people. You understand? And I'm hoping that will not burst out into
full-blown
expressions of frustration anytime near the elections. So that right now there's really not much INEC can do, but to try its best to ensure that as many Nigerians as is possible get to cast their votes.
We hope they get it right. Yes. Thank you very much, Kende Amodu, for coming to the program. Viewers, we will take a short break, and when we return, the conversation continues. Don't go away.
Ina kake dan Najeriya? Baka da labarin jagaba Ahmad Bola Tinubu a yanzu shike gaba kan gaba a cikin 'yan takara a ƙasa Najeriya dake da sassanin asalin sanin mukaman mulki da kuma samun da waraka ga rayuwar al'ummar Najeriya. Jagaba shike da sassanin asalin sanin hanyoyin tattalin arzikin ƙasa a Najeriya. Jagaba Bola Ahmad Tinubu magabata suka ce shi a ƙwararren direban da zai ceto rayuwar al'ummar Najeriya a shekara ta 2023. Ya batun dawo da martabar ilimi, noma, kiwo da batun tsaro a Najeriya. Ya game da samarwa matasa ayyukan yi maganin fatara da zaman kashe wando. Haka ina ga batun daidaito a tsakanin kabilu da mabiya addinai daban-daban a ƙasa Najeriya. Nan ma magabata suka ce jagaba shi ke kan gaba. To yanzu dan masani ina mafita hanya tsani domin a barje a baya? Amsar dai ita ce jagaba Bola Ahmed Tinubu shine kan kat cikin dubun dubatan 'yan takara a Najeriya da ke neman shugabancin ƙasa daga kanshi sai dai ka sha wafa.
Wannan sako ne daga sashen tsare-tsare da sadarwa na kwamitin yakin neman zaben shugaban ƙasa na jam'iyyar APC.
Now, as part of efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening...
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, a total volume of 130...
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secure are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the...
Really, if you look at English squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at...
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Still on our tidbits, the River State Presidential Campaign Council has cancelled the state's rally scheduled for tomorrow, Tuesday, February 14, for some reasons given by different people. For instance, Senator Lee Meba, who spoke on behalf of the campaign council in Port Harcourt on Monday, said the campaign rally will no longer hold due to security reasons. He added that the party's presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, had informed them that he does not want any bloodshed in Rivers State, saying in court, power belongs to God. I recall that last week, the chairman, PDP Presidential Campaign Council in Rivers State, Dr. Abiy Sekibo was allegedly attacked in Port Harcourt and his vehicle was riddled with bullets. And back in Abuja, the Department of State Services, DSS, summoned former Aviation Minister Femi Fani-Kayode for questioning regarding a claim of a potential coup against the government. He was there today, Monday. Fani-Kayode, who serves as a spokesperson for the All Progressives Congress Campaign Council, is being investigated over his statement alleging that some presidential candidates and military generals are plotting to disrupt the upcoming elections and carry out a coup. DSS spokesman Peter Ofunaya confirmed the invitation in a brief statement. However, Fani-Kayode confirmed the summons via his Twitter account, stating that he has no fear and will comply with the invitation, which he did. He emphasized that he takes matters of national security seriously and has nothing to hide. He also mentioned that he is used to arrests, interrogations, detainments, and other difficulties, having faced them numerous times in the past 15 years.
To the DSS, and of course it was all about this issue of the tweet and so on and so forth, and basically they spent almost 5 hours. I think we got there at 10 o'clock in the morning. We left at about 4 or 5 or so, I can't remember. And I was subjected to a very thorough grilling. That's the word that I'll use. The word I'll use is grilling. They were very, very thorough. They were very, very inquisitive, and they were very professional in their approach. But at the same time, I have to say they were polite, they were reasonable, they were rational, and though it was quite an ordeal, I felt that I was being treated in a very fair manner, and I wasn't being oppressed. And it was very clear to me also that they were not acting on the orders or the requests of the People's Democratic Party. They made it very clear that even before that call came, I know that they'd asked me to come. So this was the position. And during the course of the interrogation, some of the questions they raised, and of course the investigation is still on, so I've been asked to report back on Wednesday, and possibly I'll be going back there once a week. I think it's left to them, but they suggested to me until they now decide whether they feel the need to take the matter up and charge me to court, or whether they feel that I've done nothing wrong. It's very, very self-evident that some of the things that were said were regrettable. Why do I say so? When news comes out, like somebody's meeting with army officers, perhaps one should have not simply said it and believed it and accepted it, or even said, well, even if true. Perhaps another course could have been taken, which is perhaps to say, okay, let me ask the authorities privately. Let me try and find out before I say anything at all. And I think I would concede that point, that look, you know, sometimes we have to be a little bit more circumspect.
We're now joined by Frank Shaibu, Special Advisor to Atiku Abubakar and Public Communications, to bring us up to speed with updates from their campaign and what is happening. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
Is it because you issued a statement yesterday that he actually honored the invitation by DSS, or you think they actually made serious moves to have him?
The truth of the matter is that Fani-Kayode cannot stop lying. He's he's a pathological liar, and he will keep lying. You know, the truth is...
Why do you come? He will call you a liar also.
No. He cannot call me a liar. He cannot. I issued a statement yesterday morning calling the DSS to investigate him because the matters, an accusation of matters that borders on coup plot is treasonable. And the death penalty for coup plot is death. The penalty for it is death. So if a man wakes up and he makes those kind of garrulous comments and accusations that Atiku Abubakar, our presidential candidate, held meetings with army generals, he stated it on his Twitter handle that he had it on good authority. Wow. And we said, look, the DSS and the police must invite him. Because we remember vividly when the late former deputy CBN Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, Melafia, made comments about a governor in Nigeria being involved in Boko Haram activities. You remember that the DSS invited him over 5 times before he even went to court. May so rest in peace. So Fani Kayode is not above the law. And I just listened to him a few seconds ago.
This was actually a press conference after he left the DSS.
Yes, after he left this evening. And instead of burying his head in shame, he's still ranting. He's still talking, of course. But even while talking, you heard him say that, oh, yes, one has to be circumspect, one has to do this and one has to do that. He knows. He does not need to even justify whether his arrest or invitation was precipitated by our statement. Of course, I authored that statement. Because that is the right thing to do.
Why did you give the
We authored the statement because there was nothing like that. It was clearly a figment of his imagination. It was not the first time. You remember that before yesterday, even before 2 days ago, we issued a statement where in that statement I reviewed clearly that, look, Nigerians must shine their eyes that in the next few days before the 25th of February, because the APC candidates and his gang of jesters have nothing to market to Nigerians, what they are going to do is to churn out 1,000 lies between now and the 25th of February.
And
they were going to do what we call churn out 80 lies per day minimum. 80 per day.
But how did you get to know that?
Look, we have intelligence, and in fact, they have not disappointed us at all.
And he too said that he has intelligence.
No.
That your candidate is actually having nocturnal meetings with generals.
So if he did that, he should. You see, the matter is before our security agencies. He should go and give the identities of such generals that he's meeting with. But you can see that he capitulated a few days. The moment the army responded to him yesterday, he capitulated. And I told him it was too late in the day for him to recant. He cannot recant. He must answer questions because he must tell Nigerians, he must tell the security agencies. The Department of State Services is not just a normal department. They know what they are doing. And that was why when I saw his statement early this morning, I woke up to his statement this morning when he alluded to the fact that the DSS called him 3 days ago.
Yes.
After they called, he told them that, look, if they want to invite him, they invite him formally. The DSS does not have that kind of modus operandi. Who knows for Femi Fani Kayode that the DSS will call him or send him a text message?
But he's a former minister.
Listen, it does not matter. No, but the DSS doesn't operate like that. They won't call. They won't reduce themselves to his level. They will invite him formally. That's a decent and decorous organization. And they did the right thing by the end of yesterday. By yesterday night, he received a formal invitation asking that he must appear before them today. That is the same man who went to a general hospital in Kubwa to get a medical record that he was ill because he didn't want to appear in court on a matter bordering on fraud.
But this time around, is it because he belongs to a ruling party, he has this feeling that he will not be held?
That was why he was arrogant and bragging. That look, in fact, nobody could arrest him. But the DSS are above that. They are no respecter of any human being when it bothers on national security. And that was why he was so invited.
But you mentioned that it is actually a treasonable felony of sort.
No, the accusation of coup. Yes, accusation of coup.
Yes, accusation.
If you say that,
but why did they release him?
No, he is not the one. You see, their investigation is going on. I don't know how.
If it were you.
Yes.
Maybe you too, since you are speaking for a political party, but if it were me, do you think they will release me to go back to my house today?
You see, the truth of the matter is this. The Department of State Services is a decent agency. And if they are investigating Femi Fani Kayode like they started today, you heard him say it on camera, that they asked him to report back on Wednesday. Are you with me?
Yeah.
So their investigation is ongoing. You know, they are not loud. They are not lousy.
You are closely monitoring it.
Of course, we're not just monitoring. We are closely monitoring. We knew, like today, we knew while they were grilling him for 4 hours, we knew the number of times he went to the toilet. He was
meaning you planted people at
not
the DSS.
Just planted.
But then who was telling you?
Not planted. You see, we have a safe pair of eyes and ears. We have journalists that cover that agency as well. Don't forget. There are journalists who cover that agency. You see, he cannot run away from this.
Is that not espionage?
No. The police have journalists who cover them. the Army do have, the DSS do have. You reported today that the DSS issued a statement that they did invite him.
Yeah.
Do you understand me?
Yeah.
So it is not, you see, the DSS, they are not masquerades.
Okay,
you understand?
The APC campaign actually issued a statement that they were on standby to see whether he will be held there because they have prepared their lawyers.
You see,
is that a threat?
And maybe you think the DSS capitulated because of the threat. That is not it. That couldn't have been a threat. You see, these are people who live on lies. From their candidates, his certificate is a lie. His name, lies. The drug scandal where he forfeited $460,000, lies. You remember that even his gaffes, you remember, and the bullion van case where they said the bullion van, after many years, since 2019, where the candidate himself told the world that, look, yes, it is my money. Bullion van came into my house, and how is that our business?
Okay.
Few days ago, one of their spokespersons came on national television to say that no, the bullion van missed its way. Has the bullion van missed its way to anybody's home in Nigeria before? Now this time around, they said the bullion van missed its way, and he came to Bola Tinubu's house. We didn't have a problem with that. Even his gaffes, Dele Alake, a former commissioner, came on national television to say that, look, even the so-called gaffes that they are talking about, including the Bala Blue and all of that, they are doctored videos. And my brother, these are comments and statements that are well documented on live television.
All right, thank you very much for this, because I want us to move to another important issue.
Before you, you see, I need to connect it to this particular instance. Okay. You see, these people believe and trade on lies and fiction. And when
the way they also say you people thrive on fiction.
No. You see, Hamza, when you say you people, I do not understand. We issued a statement yesterday. If we were trading on lies, the Department of State Services will not react to it. Okay. Let me give you another example. When they were heading for their rally in Kaduna last week, Wednesday, or Thursday, as the case may be, because they knew that they were not on ground, the first thing they did was to manufacture, create, forge a letter of resignation, purportedly from the Deputy Governor of Sokoto State. Dropped it in the media, on their online platform, their official
handle. This is an allegation.
Not allegation.
No, I've seen the letter, but he said he didn't actually.
It was published on the official handle of Bayo Ononuga. And all their goons, their media goons. And from there, the mainstream media picked it up. Even Festus Keyamo, a lawyer, published the same story on his handle.
It was doctored. I think they doctored.
You understand me? Yeah. Now, what were they planning to achieve? They were planning to achieve something by dropping that in the media.
Yeah.
They were going to use that to galvanize support from the PDP base, so that they could now, if the deputy governor has gone, they will move, definitely his supporters will rush there. And they said they even purportedly claimed 11 commissioners as well left with him. Now, these people tell barefaced lies because they are shameless. A set of people who can abandon the leadership of their party, particularly the president and its policies, and say, no, we are not part of it, just because they are desperate for power. You should know that these people are bloody liars.
All right, we will bring them, Frank, we will bring them to respond, because I want us to discuss another issue now, which is very important.
The deputy governor of Sokoto State.
I know you have a lot to say.
No, hold on.
You have a lot to say.
I need to round this off so that, you see, for the purpose of our
you have another big question for you, which you would like to answer.
I don't have a problem. I will respond to all questions.
Okay, go ahead.
I came prepared.
Okay, go ahead.
I came prepared. We are loaded.
Okay.
But
is the time, Frank?
It does not matter. Okay. Even if we cannot exhaust it, I will return to the studio.
Fine.
You see, the truth is this: the deputy governor had to respond to them. I said, look, I didn't resign. I am a bona fide member of the PDP. The purported letter they published, which some mainstream media, including Daily Trust.
Well, as you said, it was published in verified handles, and that is why we took it. But immediately we fact-check, and when he issued a statement, across our platforms,
the letter was unsigned. It was unsigned. That's why we have alerted you formally that look, in the days ahead, you have to open your eyes.
Which we've been doing.
Use microscopic and telescopic views to check any statement they issue, including the documents they release to the public, because these people are perennial and habitual liars who take substances, and because they take substances, they don't even know when they lie. That's the issue.
Now let's go to your campaign in Rivers State. Yeah,
yes.
In Rivers State. Let's have a look at a clip from there.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
So there's no sentiment. See what happened. They said they want to do rally. That's okay. Go and take Adokia Mesimaga. I've given them Adokia Mesimaga last night. Some of these armed robbers in the state thought that we wouldn't know. Abia Sekebo led talks around 12 midnight to go to Transamadi, the land that belongs to Rivers State, and brought bulldozers with Lee Meba to start grading the place. That's where they want to use for presidential rally tomorrow. I said, no, go back to stadium. You say one stadium, no be so.
Now so.
You say you have people, no be so. Yeah. You must go there.
You go full on.
You say you get people, no be so.
Now so.
Go there. You will not do presidential rally any other place. You must take a
stadium. You go full on.
So they escaped me last night. Of course, I have to chase them away. They ran away before I came.
Well, that was Governor Wike giving his own side of the story that PDP said it was based on security that they are no longer going to hold rally there. Still, Frank, you have heard what he said. And there was a statement from Rivers, right, by Lee Meba, who said that based on security, they will not, or you people will not hold election anymore. Election campaign, rally, yeah, in Rivers. Two questions in one. Will this affect your chances? And then secondly, he said he has given you the stadium and you must do it there. Why did you try to go to Transamadi? State government land.
No, the state government does not own any land on Transamadi. It was not a state property.
Whose land?
It is our property. It's a property. It's a property belonging to my principal.
You mean Atiku?
Yes. You see, when a man, you see, the first thing is that, you know, that tape, you didn't play it completely because I have a complete version of this.
Just to give a
where you see where he said Senator Sekibo was lucky. He missed him. You understand me? That is a clear admission that he knew those who shot at Dr. Sekibo. So when you see a bloodthirsty man,
wow.
Someone who is bloodthirsty.
Are you referring to Wike?
Of course I am. If a man is bloodthirsty, this is a man who...
It is an allegation, or
listen
you are sure
to me. You heard him. It is in his own words. From his lips. A man raised the alarm that his car was shot at.
I saw it.
You saw bullet-ridden car. And the next day you hold a press briefing to say that he was lucky. If you had met him there. You see, in one breath, that's a lawyer. And that's unfortunate. You see, some persons went to school, but the school didn't pass through them. He is unintelligible, unfortunately.
Oh my God.
Because if he were intelligible, he will know the implication of what he's talking about. A man's car was shot at, bullet-ridden. The next day you come publicly, you say, oh, he was lucky. You missed him. So the issue is this. Let me tell you something. When power gets to the wrong hands, and some persons, some human beings, and some characters who never believed could earn 1,000 naira in their life have access to the state treasury, it intoxicates them. Atiku is not desperate for power. And we got our intelligence, please.
He died for this more than 5 times.
Hold on, please. That's not desperation.
Okay.
That's not desperation. Aspiration is different from desperation. He has aspired to be president multiple times. He has been on the ballot 3 times.
Okay.
Do you understand me? To aspire is different from contesting. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And with profound respect, he has never shown desperation.
Like Wike, for instance.
Like Wike or anybody in his ilk. Wike says he is popular. Wike says he's on ground. Wike says the only sin of Atiku is because he's a northerner. That's his only sin.
Now, do you have chances? Because we have run out of time. Do you have chances in Rivers now that you have shelved?
We don't just have chances. We have the credibility and the package which we have been marketing to our people to win election in Rivers.
And you have foreclosed Wike.
He started as G5. Oh, they cannot win election. Okay. Later on, he was the same one who started mouthing that, Aso Rock is supporting them. The next thing, I will not give them stadium. We now say, okay, keep your stadium. If we want to run a campaign in Rivers today, we will run a campaign in Rivers.
But you think you can do without the campaign?
You understand me? Yeah. Yes, first off, we can do without the campaign. Number 2, for a bloodthirsty environment, we will not subject or put the lives of our people at risk.
And I will put a close to the conversation here. You have said it all, even though I know you have more to say. Thank you very much, Frank, for coming to the program. We hope to have you again.
Thank you, Hamza.
Yes, viewers, that's Frank Shaibu, the spokesperson for the Atiku Okowa campaign organization. We'll go on a short break again, and when we return, the conversation continues. Don't go away.
Haruna, Bisi, Akman, Unduka, how will I want to do on election day?
On election day, I go take my PVC. When I reach where I vote to, I broom I go put my hand over for Tinubu. On election day, I go take my PVC. When I reach where I vote to, I broom I go put my hand over for Tinubu.
People of Nigeria, make we all come out on election day and vote Asiwaju Bola Tinubu as president. Make Nigeria for better. Make you put your hand for APC, the party where show broom. Not forget now broom you go put your hand in. Bam!
On election day, I go take my PVC. When I reach where I vote to, I broom I go put my hand over for Tinubu.
Welcome back. If you are just joining us, this is Daily Politics on Trust TV. Do well to follow us across all our social platforms on Facebook, Twitter, and watch us live on YouTube. To other stories now, Banji Omotosho, chairman of the Labour Party in the Southwest, has made a declaration of the complete integration of the Labour Party into the All Progressives Congress in support of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, the APC candidate, at a press conference in Akure on the state. Speaking on behalf of the newly joined members, Omotosho stated that the reason for the defection was due to the inadequate structure of the Labour Party in the region, including at the state, local and ward levels. He stated that the Labour Party is not strong enough to win a single seat in the region. Also, the presidential candidate of the People's Liberation Party, PRP, Kola Abiola, has linked the hardship being faced by Nigerians as a result of the new Naira policy to poor policy implementation. Kola, who spoke during an event by a conference of youth groups who endorsed his campaign, stated that the policy is failing due to a lack of inclusiveness of Nigerians in the process. Take a look.
I think it's a very bad timed, not so much timed, but more implemented policy. You see, what has happened is a collective mess. You have a situation where you wait too late, and it was not really thought out. Your banks cannot cope with the influx. You don't have enough naira out there. Many of our citizens are not even in the banking system. If you're in a village or a local government that don't have a bank, how do you change money? How do you take that money back? So you need to be inclusive first before you now try to bring a policy that is inclusive. We're not even inclusive yet. So how do they begin to transact? That's one. Two, the banking softwares, the fintech softwares are not robust to even take the volume of activity that you are forced to now do online.
Well, we have in the studio Mustafa Audu. He's a member of the APC Presidential Campaign Council. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
I can see you smiling. Why? Why are you smiling, Mustafa?
Because a little while ago when I was here, I told you that, you know, Labour Party, they just don't have what it takes. The best thing that they've done is awaken the spirit in a lot of young people to make them understand how important the electoral process is. They've done that. And for that, I honestly think they'd get about maybe 2 million votes maximum. But the reality
You mean across Nigeria? In the whole of Nigeria?
In the whole of Nigeria. Where would their votes come from? It can't be Abuja where they, you know, have a strong presence. It can't be the Southeast because the Southeast just doesn't produce that amount of numbers given the circumstances surrounding it. So if you look at it, the two parties with the strongest structure are APC and PDP. And Labour Party is there taking away directly from PDP votes, 100%.
Not from yours?
Not from the APC. We've never been strong in the FCT in Abuja, which, you know, Labour Party seems extremely strong. That's a PDP stronghold. The Southeast, we've never been strong there. If you look at Abia, for example, last election, we had 80,000 votes, while PDP had almost 400,000 votes. This time around, our APC 80,000 votes would stay, would maybe get a little more with the presence of Ojus or Kalu. But other than that, I don't see where the votes are coming from except PDP votes. If you look at the Southwest, they've just capitulated. They've joined the rank and file of the APC. So you can see...
Were you surprised when they announced that? You 6 states, right?
Yes, 6.
That is monumental.
Absolutely.
Did you anticipate that at the campaign council? Or it came as a surprise? They saw some figures somewhere.
To be honest, right, we've had a lot of strategy sessions where we've done permutations on where our weaknesses are, where our strengths are, and how to strengthen our party and how to form alliances. It's a game of numbers, and we know that in order for us to succeed, we need more numbers. More numbers, the better. So if you look at Labour Party, you look at the PDP, you look at where they are weakest, and try and, you know, capitalize on that. So we looked at them being so weak in the Southwest, you know.
But they had a lot of confidence before, because we brought some of their chieftains here. They said they are going to encroach into Southwest because they know they are good with South and Southeast.
No, where they will get votes, and it's good to always be honest, where they will get a bit of votes will be Lagos State. They would get votes, and again, it's the PDP votes that they will take away from Lagos State. So I actually envisage them coming second in Lagos, you know, behind us and PDP.
Not even PDP.
Third. No.
But now them joining you, PDP will be distant thought or what?
Exactly. So you see that, in fact, those votes they had, those structure they had, because when people talk about having structure, a lot of people in Labour Party come out and say, oh, you don't need structure. Oh, you know, you have the votes, they can win. You know, they've conducted so many social media polls. But you know, these are newbies. These are people who have never partaken in the electoral process. A lot of us young people in the APC, APC, we're seasoned veterans. I've been in politics for the last 15 years, active politics. I've run for position, I have won, I have lost, I have gone through the rigmarole
so you
of
know
politics.
The dynamics.
Exactly, and without that structure, without having somebody in the bush, in Damaturu or in the bush, in another location, you cannot return the number of votes that you need without having, not even having polling agents. You need people, because politicians are selfish. So you actually need politicians with authority, with power, sitting members of reps, sitting senators that fight for themselves and in turn fight for the party.
Wow.
That's how realistically it works. You can talk about ideals and, you know, oh, ideally you'd want
putting
it to
something
be this
on
way.
nothing.
Yes.
The structure.
But in reality, without that structure, you cannot win an election.
So where are you heading to now? You have conquered in court, because we will bring them to act. In fact, somebody called before I came to the studio saying that it's just the leaders. The grassroots are still with LP in Southwest.
No, you'd get votes. Don't get me wrong. Okay. It's not like they would get 0 votes. It's impossible. Out of the 18 political parties, everybody has somebody. But is it enough? That's the real question. And we don't believe that it's enough for them to actually win this vote. They don't have what it takes. And Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu has the furthest reach. He has invested in a lot of people. If you look at the candidates of all the other parties, you cannot point to one person that the Labour Party candidate has, you know, has changed the dynamics of that person's life and made that person a real leader. You can point to just a handful of people from the PDP candidate, but you can point to numerous people across Nigeria, the length and breadth of Nigeria, southeast, southwest, northeast, northwest, north central, that our presidential candidate has had a hand in their success. That is laying a foundation, that is laying a structure. And let me say this, right, you know, we as APC, we believe that it's time for power to shift to the south. In terms of equity, you have to be equitable. But a lot of people say, if you're saying move it to the south, why don't you move it to the southeast?
Yeah.
The truth about it is that politics is a game of numbers. It's about alignment.
But there should be fairness also.
No, alignment, negotiation. Okay. You cannot sit on the sidelines and say that it's my turn, I should be given because...
As a matter of right.
Yes, there's nothing like that. You negotiate. You go and say, okay, this time, we know we will not get into power, so we'll work hard for you to get into power so that the next time around it comes to us and we have your support. That's how it works. APC has never had strong votes from the southeast. So how then do you expect the APC to give its ticket to a zone that doesn't even vote
so
APC?
Are you now working to extend overtures to the leadership of the LP at the highest level?
Yeah, absolutely. Once they lose, you know, sometimes you need them to experience this process, you know. So once they lose, it's easier to absorb them. We want a government, or a unity government, because the project, the task ahead of us requires each and every Nigerian to partake in this process. There's no time to say, okay, only a certain group of people would be carried along while the rest would be left behind. No, this is a Herculean task, which we know that given the track record of Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Kashim Shettima, because both of them are intellectuals, they've done it before. You know, 50% of the farming implements, agricultural tools are in Borno State. You know, during Kashim Shettima's time, the first photovoltaic assembly plant for solar panels was set up by Kashim Shettima.
So all this will say. But I want to ask this, because people were suggesting that this Naira thing, that was why we brought Kola Abiola of PRP, saying Nigerians are really suffering. Is this in any way affecting your candidate? Because some people were saying that it will affect candidate Tinubu and Shettima.
Yeah, to be honest, to a certain extent, yes. We have to, again, be honest. The president's intention for carrying out the Naira redesign is simple. A lot of people have complained about election, vote buy-in, the electioneering process, you know, in the advent of technology has improved it, but yet there's still a lot of vote buying. So the president, in his own wisdom, has decided, okay, this is my legacy to Nigerians. I'll try and clean up the system.
Yes.
Wherever this hidden money is, let's bring it back into the system. Once you bring the money back into the system, anybody taking it out, because it's electronic, is much easier to monitor. But there are a lot of people who are working against us, who are working against our candidate, and those people have made sure that the implementation of this cashless policy has been extremely poor. When you give bank managers the opportunity and the funds, they don't release the money. They hide the money. We've seen over 30 bank managers
Even though
being
some have
arrested.
swore that they were not given the money.
Some have, but over 30 bank managers have been arrested so far, and more are still being arrested. You can see that they opened their vault, and behind the old money is the new money hiding. The central bank has removed over 2 trillion from circulation and only printed 300 billion. This is poor implementation. That's why you see the Council of State has come out and said, print more naira. Let us have the old currency running pari passu concurrently with the new currency, so that it can ease the pains. Because at the end of the day, right, if you look at it, we have some of our leaders that have come on TV and said their fellow governors have been able to procure 100 million for the cost of 120 million. So whatever it is that you were trying to do to get rid of that money, and you're trying to stop the oligarchs, the people at the top, from being able to spend that money, it's not feasible. They would still be able to get access to the money. But what is different here is that you can actually track and trace this money, and there's an election limit. So the security agencies can now prosecute those people. That INEC has set a limit for presidential elections, for governorship elections, a financial limit. So if we've seen that your withdrawal has exceeded the financial limit without it being a business transaction, then the security agencies can actually prosecute the people that are carrying this out. This is what President Muhammadu Buhari wants to leave as a legacy. Again, it's an APC thing to attempt to clean up the polity and the electioneering process.
Thank you very much, Mustafa. I wish we carry on with this conversation, but time not on our side. You were in Gombe, I mean, the campaign council.
Absolutely.
In Gombe today.
Yeah.
So many things happened. I will bring you back to discuss this and many other issues. Thank you for coming. Viewers, that's a wrap on today's program. Before we go, do well to collect your permanent voter's card and make a commitment to vote in the forthcoming election to guarantee a better future for all of us. Thanks for watching, and do join us again. I'm Hamza Idris.